All right, this is Randalicious. Welcome to the 93rd Hexis Podcast. During this podcast, we'll be discussing while Guthix Sleeps, big wave of false bans, bonds, the change to them, both in terms of the price increase and the usage that has been changed for them. The upcoming Slayer boss coming out next week, and more. This podcast and all future Hexis podcasts are available on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. Let's get into it. I'm Randalicious, and I'm the leader of Hexis.
I'm Plundering, a moderator in Hexis, and I just got 200 mil construction just now.
Rat's best skill.
Hello, my name is Sebbe, and I'm a retired skiller, currently a PVMer in Hexis.
Hello, my name is Abra. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, not really, but you know.
It gets it done.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Retired Skiller. You got Blood Torva this week. Before Dan Gleesack, I do need to also point out to the public. What was
it? It's on vacation, though. The guy said
so tell me about that. What was it like for you? What was your favorite and least favorite part about getting Blood Torva?
Honestly, I didn't enjoy the bosses, but it's like RuneScape, right? It's my favorite part. It's
it is
progressing. Right? So it's just getting a new PB every attempt. It's just it's the fun part, I suppose. Maybe first 10 attempts, you get it to half HP. The 20th attempt, maybe gets 30% HP, and just keep progressing. And it's just very satisfying, progressing, right? Kind of skilling in a way.
Yeah, that's definitely the fun part. Learning new methods, trying to push those rates as high as possible.
And my least favorite part is so basically Vardorvis, Duke, and Leviathan. What they all have in common is once they're low HP, they're gonna enter a rage phase. And this rage phase is crazy complicated compared to the other part of the boss. So it's you can get to a rage phase of 20 attempts, but then you just die at the rage phase 60, 70 times over. And it just gets demotivating. Just dying over and over again. It's the same part. That's kind of what I didn't enjoy, but overall I enjoyed the grind.
How many deaths overall was it, if you have an idea? And which boss did you find the easiest?
I'd say the easiest probably Duke. I got to a rage phase of 5 attempts, but Duke probably had the hardest rage phase. It probably took 67 attempts at Duke anyway. And then Leviathan, Vardorvis, Whisper, they were all 90 attempts each, something like that. Total be 300.
Okay.
Bits more 320, 330, something like that.
Dedication.
It's a lot of attempts.
Yeah. It's 1 mil or so every time you die.
It's a bit more, to be honest. It's 1.2. You pay 500k for the death and then 800k for the orb.
Is
that what they're down to?
Yeah. But at Whisper, though, because you just tell it out once you lose sanity, if you know Whisper works. So
yeah. Oh, wow, they're cheap now.
Yeah, so when it at Whisper, I wouldn't get the actual death. I just tell it out instead every attempt when you lose sanity. But all the bosses, I actually died at pretty much every attempt.
Okay. Moving on. What big PVM challenge are you going after now? So you got Infernal. So in the last 6 months, you got Infernal Cape, Quiver, Blood Torva. What would be next for you in this post 200 mil journey?
I mean, long term, I'm going for Grandmaster, but at the moment, very moment, I'm trying to learn TOB. And the long term goal would be to get all combat achievements at TOB. But first, I gotta actually learn the content, right? So I got 22 KC right now, and I'm still practicing TOB before I do the CAs.
Okay.
The current what I'm doing. It's practicing TOB to the CAs. And yeah, it's pretty fun so far for sure.
All right, very good. So I've been a little bit behind you, kind of like every step of the way throughout. I recently got a quiver, and in the background of the podcast, if you guys are watching on what would be YouTube, you'll be able to see all of my deaths that I have, or not all of them, I guess, but a good chunk of my deaths playing on in the background, gameplay of all of my fails. So I did that over the last, I got it at this point almost like 4 weeks ago, but over since the last podcast from 2 months ago. Spent a few weeks, I think we're a little bit over like 2.5 weeks or so, maybe 3, getting it. At a stretch where I couldn't play for like 6-7 days, so that was kind of not fun. Feeling it kind of like over my head for an extended period of time, but going for the quiver, I got it. I really liked it, so it took me 110 deaths before I was able to get it. And one of the things that I really liked compared to the Infernal when I was doing that was that it was a lot easier to get to the point to where I could learn from my mistakes. Like if you're doing the Inferno, like you might spend a half hour, 45 minutes, like on your first cape, that is like half hour, 45 minutes before you even get to a point to where you can fuck up to where you'll learn something. But that was thankfully something that, with how punishing the Colosseum was, it was a lot easier to be able to learn and get better. So I was pretty happy with what I was able to like progress through it over time, and yeah, I thought that it was a really fun PVMing experience. It's like for me, it was a little bit more of an experience where I can see now why that there are people that like just play this game for the sole purpose of PVMing and not skilling, was because of like how fun I found the Colosseum to be. And then like you even add in like how much money per hour you can make from doing this, which is wild. Like 20 mil plus is something. So
about that.
Yeah. So all right. Abra. So this week you got PMod.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Were you surprised? Like you are now an in-game police officer.
Which one's more important? Right? Yeah, no, just logging in one day. I see the little, you have a message in your message center, so go check that out. And yeah, big surprise. Would never have really expected it. As of right now, this minute, it doesn't really mean much. Just a cute little crown. Because you kind of start off in a little trial period before you can really do anything that matters.
Oh, so
you're on, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to helping out a little bit. It's nice. And the nice thing also is that once you pass the trial period, you're not really like expected or like you have to do anything. So, yeah, I'd rather have it than not. The only tiny thing is like, do I ever feel the need to like self-censor or anything like that? But really, part of the whole purpose is to be like an ambassador and like set a good example. So, I mean, I don't think it's really gonna impact it that much.
I mean, I would say don't change anything that you're doing, because whatever it is that you're doing, they decided to give it to you because of how you've been. So don't.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I've been known at times for rather spicy choice of words. Like I'm part of the reason why at my previous job they had to get rid of their public message board. But yeah, no, so I was like, y'all fucking up, y'all doing this, but
I mean, I've never seen anything like hateful coming from you.
Oh no, not hateful, but I mean, now I certainly have to, even more than previously, probably make sure that like any criticisms are like well constructed and not just be like, man, fuck Jagex or whatever,
Yeah.
Because I see some people like that. I didn't say names.
Well, you didn't
self-report.
You didn't have to. That's pretty cool. If I was a PMod, I'd probably spend like 10 minutes every day just going around the GE muting those spam bots for like.
I would like to, but I think that's actually kind of one of the guidelines is to not like go looking for trouble as much as I would love to, but.
I would go on.
Kind of just like as things come up, deal with them, but don't go around specifically looking to deal with trouble.
Just go hang out at stars.
Dude, you could have a field day at Wintertod.
Or like shooting stars, tempera, goater.
Oh yeah. Anywhere you get people together.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Skilling.
Yeah, just becomes a cesspool of just weird.
People say PKers are toxic, but you ever seen a star? Oof.
No, thankfully not. All right. Moving on then, Plundering, you are approaching 200 mil all on a level 3. We'll talk about that a little bit. Are you going to be breaking the build when you reach it? What's the plan for Slayer, if anything?
No plans on breaking the build. I do plan on training Slayer, mostly through Wilderness Alt Slayer. JCW has some videos on that method, and I enjoyed doing it during the week that I went hard at it when it was first accidentally put into the game. So I'll be doing that to at least level 99, and I'm not really sure past that.
What's if you happen to know, level 3, what's the most Slayer XP on a level 3 right now?
That would be JCW, and he
let's look.
He is past level 99. He's at 16, just under 16.2 mil XP.
Okay. What do you guys do for Slayer at level 3 nowadays?
So what we do is we have one alt or multiple alts that are doing the damage, and we just use a weapon that's the same attack speed as a guaranteed 0 hitting weapon, like the Cursed Goblin Hammer and some holiday event items. And you just have to time it so that your 0 splat is on the same tick as the final damage dealt to the NPC, and you get half XP. Slayer XP is given, half of the XP is given to whoever does the majority of the damage, and half is given to the person who did the last hit. And that hitting 0 on the last tick, on the same tick as the last hit is dealt, counts as, being the last hit. So that's how we get that. With one ult, I was averaging 16k XP per hour, but I've seen JCW use up to 4 and get push 35 to 40k XP per hour. But I can't.
Really? Yeah, I know it can at least be over 40.
Yeah, I can't deal with that kind of stuff, especially in the wilderness with trying to get away from PKers. I'm not rich enough to just be okay with dying on 3 out of 4 of the accounts or something like that. So
are those things geared up pretty high, or
they don't risk too much? Usually 1 to 1.5 mil for a death, and you're not always going to get. It's easy to get away when you're only using one ult. So just not dying is way more. It just feels better to me. Just using one ult that's geared up a little more, and then I just telly out if I see a PKer.
Okay. Once that's all you have left, would you consider surpassing JCW 16.1 mil XP?
I mean, if I'm still enjoying the game and all that, then definitely.
Because what is it? It'd only be 100 to 200 hours from 99 to rank 1.
Roughly? Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and, he's busy with his content creation thing, so I kind of have an advantage, but then, things can always change. And I also plan, if I'm, not in the mood to do Wilderness Slayer, then I can just, AFK clean finds and then play some alt accounts on this side, some project builds or something like that.
Okay.
So I'll be able to make consistent progress either way.
You got a timeline of when 200 mil all is coming?
Probably December-ish, sometime in December.
Oh, that's pretty close. How much HP away?
So I just have 16.4 mil fishing and 34 mil agility. That counts towards EHP.
Yeah.
So that's what, like 650,
700
hours maybe.
Yeah, that's good shit. Abra, your next year
Yo-ho.
for 200 mil all?
Oh, okay. I was trying to think what you're talking about. I guess out of the four of us, yes, that is how that'll go.
Oh no, I was just curious, like how.
I'd say you didn't read the question, so I was.
Oh no,
I was
no,
waiting
no,
on
no,
you.
no, no, yeah. All right, move on to that one then. Is what are your current goals in game?
Yeah, there you go. They got the context. Yeah, no, just keep slowly making progress. Generally, the order of operations is agility, which right now I am just about 68 mil. Then after that, it'll be all of runecrafting, and before I finish agility, I should be passively finishing mining. The cursed trio for last, you know. I'm not a smart man, but I got the dedication.
I think my last three were runecrafting, mining, and woodcutting. My current goals right now, like I would like to finish maxing my alt, Randy. Getting close. Really, the biggest thing that's in the way is I got to get from 92 to 99 Slayer. Aside from that, then like 95 to 99 agility. When I do agility, I'll be doing the like multi-skilling with the infernal, like the demonic offering with infernal ashes to get 99 prayer, like 0 timed while I do agility. And then I got all the planks in the bank, mahogany planks to just finish off construction in like what would be like 2 days of actually training. So whenever I can put more of my focus into actually playing on the alt, I'll feel like I could finish that up at a decent rate. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 quite a bit on this side, and like AFKing on like all of my vires, so I've not been able to make too much progress, but I guess max the alt, and then after that I'll start trying to catch up to Sebbe and being a PVM god.
Blood shard alert.
Oh shit, that's someone else's blood shard. Sorry, everyone's getting spammed. I got it.
Nice.
So you got so for anyone watching,
another one.
The no, it was the
Yeah.
beep 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 blood shard alert, like indicating that it was someone else's shard. Oh, so that thing was fucking screaming. Sorry, viewers. That was 13 mil that I just picked up, though. Thank you for your understanding. Go ahead, Plundering.
So my current goals, well, it's just agility and fishing and fletching. Fletching comes 0 time while I'm doing agility and fishing. And outside of that, I mean, I have like some tentative plans to go back and play on the free-to-play UIM or free-to-play hardcore, while doing the AFK cleaning fines during downtime, and potentially doing something with my alt. I watched a recent video of Paul's. He's a free-to-play normal account, and
Former Hexis.
Is he?
Yeah.
So he uploaded a ramble recently talking about how he really enjoys like runecrafting as an alt method. So he's doing Wrath runecrafting again, and he has like a tentative goal of 400 mil runecraft XP across both of his accounts, and that sounds interesting. Plus, I'm already 81 mil XP on my alt, so I figure that could be something that I could potentially go for as well.
What does that make, like 4 mil an hour or so?
Yeah, it's like 3.5 to 4 mil per hour, depending on like the current price. And it's really not intensive at all. Like there's a long ass run from the place where you climb under the statue and all the way to the cave entrance thing.
Kind of comparable to ZMI, isn't it?
I haven't done ZMI in a long time, but yeah, it's like a pretty decent length time that you have like nothing to do on that account.
Okay. Good shit. All right, so something that's been going on quite a bit lately has been, at least from what I've been seeing on Twitter, has been false bans that are continuing at an alarming rate. So it's seemingly like every single week, very well-known player, high-level community, or like whether that be skilling or PVMing or free-to-play, and free-to-play has been getting hit at a seemingly a much higher rate. But a lot of people have been getting false banned over the last like 2 months. What do you think about some of these bans? What do you think about their system? Are you scared you would potentially become a victim? What's your take on the false ban stuff that's going on? Because like I see that anytime they post like a game update as well, the most upvoted like response on their tweet is like someone and anyone, and it changes from week to week, is someone just saying address the false bans.
Yeah. And Levine asking about something to do with skilling pet boost, like rate.
Oh, for 200 mil? Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone else asking for Brazilian and Asian servers.
But
no, I'm inclined to believe them because I've seen it enough, and then they get quashed. So I think a large amount, if not most / all, probably are false. Though people like to say just don't cheat, but obviously that's not the actual issue. I think they beefed up, especially like within the past couple of months, their bot detection, and yeah, they're just kind of picking up like too wide of a net. Some legit players are getting caught up in that, and it sucks. And hopefully they all get quashed, not just a couple of them. I used to, well, maybe still worry about that a little bit, not for like general activity, like agility or whatever, but like especially one of the people that got banned was for real world trade, and that was because they split a raid loot, and then one of the people they split with traded to someone else, and then that third person real world traded. So it's like, if you can get banned for that, oh my goodness, me having to pay like potentially hundreds of different people for runners for runecrafting, the chances of someone real world trading and me getting caught up is not all too slim. So I'm hoping that goes well.
I mean,
and I don't know if it helps or hinders me any. Yeah, it's never, it's always non-zero, but especially doing something that risky, and which is sad that it is. But and I don't know if it's more or less likely now that I have more eyes on me with the whole PMod stuff.
Yeah, aside from being too poor to afford runners, that was like one of the top reasons. Yeah, that was one of the top reasons why I didn't want to use runners for runecrafting.
Hey, it wasn't originally in my plans, but looking forward to doing it.
Are you gonna be Abra, when you do runecrafting? Are you gonna use like one runner, 3, 4?
I'm trying to make enough that as long as my hands can keep up with what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to make enough for 0+4. But at bare minimum, when I was originally gonna stop worrying about money, is when I bank 1+1. So that's the bare minimum.
All right.
And I'm almost at that point right now.
Fuck yeah.
Do you still have any of that Dale saved?
Nah, I went through it all.
Nice.
I'll keep slowly getting a little bit, but nah. I think that'll maybe push me to about 100 mil by the time I finish.
Pretty good.
I think so talking about like the false bans, I'm inclined to believe probably like 95% of the ones that are alleged as false. And Yeah, the thing that I am most scared of is getting caught up in some, like as Abra described, some kind of, because like we have seen, I think it was Twisted, Mod Twisted, who commented made a post that was like, you split a drop, that player then real world traded it. Like, dude, Sebbe, you're learning TOB, but man, like if it like. Whenever the time comes that I like do any kind of raids, man, like I kind of would rather just it be a free for all, and I know that with that in mind, like the majority of those drops are not coming to me because I'm not gonna have the best odds for it. I don't even want to trade with people with that.
Scuffed equals stuffed, man.
I mean, I just don't see how you get false banned splitting a drop them.
But it's happened. That's the thing.
Right. I'm just saying, like, so let's say I would get a site drop, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what I would do is I would record me getting the drop, right? And then if Jagex false bans me, I just send a recording of me getting the site drop, and it's like... Or do you mean that they literally think I RWT the raid drop?
Even if you didn't do anything, it's so stupid.
Like, you can be subject to getting banned if, like, say you get a scythe drop, and let's say you're with 2 other people or some shit. You then sell You then sell that scythe, and you get like the 1.3 bill, 1.4 bill, whatever it is, and then you give, say maybe your 2 other teammates or 3 other teammates, whatever their split is, 300 mil each or whatever the fuck. And then that guy goes and real world trades it. You could get caught up in a ban. You got the job.
Yes.
You split the drop. The person you split with sold their split. You could potentially get banned because it's happened and they've shown it.
Do you think Jagex knows that you got a raid drop and you split it? Do you think Jagex knows that, or?
I don't know if they would initially know.
Yeah, like they if they reviewed it, they would probably be able to find that out. But
it's like, I feel like if I record getting a drop and then like show them,
I would
drop as a split,
I would 100% do that every single time.
Yeah, bottom line, the problem is the customer support not being sufficient enough. Because if you could show your proof and make your case that you're innocent, then you would be able to prove that you're innocent. And as long as they would be willing to look at the evidence, then it's obvious that it's just not a legitimate ban.
But it is certainly
I think we have something on support later.
It's certainly a challenge though for your stuff to get reviewed. So
yeah, definitely.
Oh, you know what's funny though? I just remembered. I don't remember which person it was. It might have been you said Tyrant or whoever. But someone said we reviewed the ban and it was applied correctly. But it's like, sir, literally the last time you said this, that was incorrect. You said you reviewed it and it was incorrect, and then it got quashed.
Yeah, and I remember
there was someone who caught one for like an unauthorized client, and he was like, "Bro, absolutely not. I was on RuneLight the whole time," and they like told him, "Nah, you're fucked." And then eventually, like a couple of weeks later, it got quashed.
I saw a comment of Trident saying that the ban was applied correctly or something.
Yeah, that might have been.
And they'd already been unbanned.
Yeah.
The ban was already quashed.
How does that
happen? Wait, is Trident still around?
No, I think it was Twisted, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say, I swear he got canned.
Was it canned? Or was
it, so...
I don't know. Either way.
I don't think I'm really scared about getting another false ban. Like, I got one before while I was rune crafting, and it was eventually quashed, and then I had some people like accusing me of cheating records and stuff, and they again came out and said that I hadn't been using any illegitimate like clients or botting or any of that kind of stuff. So I have like a track record of being proven to not be not breaking the rules. So
yeah.
I mean, so far I've been good. In my whole career, the only offenses I've ever had were like 2 mutes.
Yeah, I got like my first mute ever earlier this year, actually.
Oh, too spicy.
One of my alts got a false ban when I was at Vyers for 2 days. And like, oh Jesus, excuse me. I had been doing like literally the exact same thing on all my alts, and like why that one is the one that gets flagged, I have no idea, because I'm not doing anything different on any of them. Just pray at altar, run away from altar, pray at altar, run away from altar. I don't know.
Yeah, and regarding the...
And then like my appeal then got denied, and I just don't understand. Like, I mean, they've certainly gone hard at buyers, at buyer bots lately. Just do, and you can see the price of blood shards like more than doubling in price.
And bones.
Yeah. So like they've been going at people pretty hard. But I mean, like, as I sit here today doing this, like every world that I'm in right now is we only got like 5 or 6 people on like an 8 virus spawn world. So
yeah, I definitely don't think that the benefit outweighs the cons of having legitimate players be banned. Just like, it's nice that there's a lot more bots being banned, but I don't think it's worth, like, I would rather have less bots being banned and no legitimate players being banned as a result of the like increased detection thing.
I'd be very curious how and surely they have some data to back it up. Well, actually, yeah, they do. On like people that
only 38 this year.
I think I could name all 38 of them off the top of my head.
Oh, you could probably name more than 38.
Yeah. With the I lost my train of thought. Oh, the amount of people that like get banned and then they appeal, like what is the I mean, they gave some number of like percentage of appeals that are correct, and you know that's where they got that 38 number, but like that the number was obviously not factually correct. I don't know. I would love to know like the actual, like if someone tweets out, "Hey, I just got banned. It's false." What percentage of those have actually been quashed upon review? I'd be curious.
I don't even know why they let you appeal if all they do is go and check the backlogs. Like, shouldn't they be checking the backlogs of everyone they ban anyways? I think they said that in a news post that that's part of the process, is that they're supposed to do that to make sure that their metrics are actually working, their detection.
I mean, if they have like if their automatic detection system says, yeah, you've triggered this, you're banned, and then like someone actually appeals it. I mean, here's the thing. I wonder how often people appeal bans. Like, if someone was actually cheating, and they appealed it, and they didn't. And they did not appeal it because they were like, yeah, fuck it, I was doing it. I don't know. I feel like if someone appeals, there should be a manual review.
Yeah, definitely agree. And regarding like the increased amount of free-to-play people getting banned, I feel like that's mostly
because they're free-to-play?
Well, not just because they're free-to-play, but I feel like free-to-play accounts, they just don't get any chance. Like, if you get banned, it's a permanent ban on your first offense, pretty much.
Jagex not making any money off you, right?
But if you're a member, then your first ban is like a 2-day or something, and you know you're not screwed just yet.
Yeah,
I feel like it might not be seen as worth to actually like try to keep them around, because percentage-wise, the amount of bots in free-to-play versus the amount of bots in pay-to-play, I feel is probably much higher, because you don't have to do the membership.
It's understandable, but it just still doesn't feel right.
Yeah, in a perfect world, only people that actually do stuff would get banned, and people that get false would get their second chance quickly and whatever. Yeah. But we're hoping and working towards it. That's all we can do.
Yeah. All right. Well, still kind of a little bit on topic is I'm just curious, like, how much extra would you be willing to pay for an upgraded customer service system? Like, let's just say per account. Like, go ahead.
So would that be like baked into the membership cost?
I would say maybe optional. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of making up shit as I was going, as I was thinking, as I was that, like, if I could pay like a certain dollar amount to have like actual customer service for one of my accounts, as opposed to like call it like some kind of advanced customer support system or something. I don't know. Just an upgraded version of what we have right now.
So when
and you can pay, you can internally like paint the picture of whatever that system may be or anything.
All right,
take the question however you'd like.
I'm thinking, like, currently, if you buy the Premier package, it's like $70 or $80 for a year. And I feel like $120, $150 for a year, like, just getting like actual customer service would be, I'd be willing to pay like an extra $50 a year. But I don't know how that would like translate to the monthly cost, since the yearly one has like a pretty hefty discount.
Yeah, I mean, it could maybe just be a separate package that you, I don't know. I mean, really just kind of depends. For like $5 a month.
Yeah, like I would be okay paying $5 a month more.
I think that's probably a pretty fair amount as well. Like if and like obviously per account, like you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I would do that. I would get it on Randy and Randalicious. Like, here you go. Like, because I'm curious, like, how much they would pay, like, in a salary. Surely they would be able to, like, if they had people pay $5 or more a month per account, and say, I mean, because how many accounts are there with membership? It's hundreds of thousands. If like just, I mean, shit, if 10,000 accounts, and 10's probably pretty aggressive. Let's just say 5,000 accounts, 2,000 accounts, 5, whatever. Like they could still make money on it. It wouldn't be a whole lot, but like they would be able to like they could literally just start off with one person and pay them like, I don't know, 60K a year, and their position generates like $150K or something like that. I don't know. I think it could be done.
Yeah, I definitely think it's feasible, but just up to what the holding companies are willing to do.
I mean, we're kind of the problem is that like it goes to every year is a record profit year. So like, why do they need to, from a CEO or a chief financial officer, he's going to look at it and say, why do we need to change anything? We've had record profits like 6 years, 7 years, however long it's been, because it's been quite a stretch. We keep having record profits. Why should we add in a new thing that costs us money? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being an issue a little bit, but realistically, like if we're being 100, like this part of the cost of doing business is that even if they lose money, even if they don't get any extra revenue, they should be doing it. Like any serious company should have good customer service.
Yeah.
But realistically, the amount that people would actually have to pay is quite low. I think probably not nearly this much.
They could probably,
especially also with them getting more revenue through multiple streams. Like I don't remember if it's still in. It was originally talking about like bonds and merch and all that stuff. Like they're getting more money. They should be right now than they were like at the beginning of the year. So like they've already made the increases necessary, paid for it if it had to be justified.
I think if they made it definitely, they'd make like $2 a month. They would get a fuck ton of extra.
I definitely think that ever since the newest holding company took over, they've been making some pretty significant changes, and some are definitely in the right direction. Like, I mean, the bot bannings, excluding like the legitimate players, that's definitely seen a huge uptick, and just generally things seem to be going better. Like the general consensus, I feel like it's more positive than it's been before.
Yeah, they have mentioned it. I mean, I think they've mentioned it multiple times, but I feel like even this year, at the beginning of the year or whatever, they specifically talked about that they were looking to beef up customer support. But the question is just when and what does that exactly look like? Because people have asked for like live chat, technical support type scenarios, and like that'd be great. I don't know if that's what we would get, but regardless, if they made a promise that they'd be improving things, I think we should, hold them to that.
Yeah, I've heard that they do have live support, but that's specifically for the billing department.
Yeah.
So if they can just like expand that to more parts,
sounds about right.
Then that would definitely be helpful.
Yeah. Did you have a number, Abra?
Not really. I mean, I haven't paid $1 in years.
They hate you.
I mean, I'm providing reasons for people to buy bonds. They can't hand me that much.
Yeah, I suppose so. All right, moving on. Got if you could pick, this was submitted by Onyx. If you could pick a Jagex sponsored skilling competition format, what would you like to see? Some examples would be like a skilling cup, which they haven't had in a while because we dominated every single one that they've ever had. The King of the Skill, or perhaps a different format. What would you like to see? Sebbe?
I mean, I thought King of Skill was great, right? I don't mind
it.
running back that one. Because there's been a lot of new skilling updates and stuff, so it wouldn't be like the same methods, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'd be down for the King of Skill for sure. And I'd actually participate in it this time.
Yeah, I wasn't really super active. Like I was playing, but I wasn't like active within the community. But I do know like the general like what was going down and how the format worked and all that. I think I would prefer something like King of the Skill, but I think they could definitely do it better. I'm thinking something similar to Deadman, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but JCW, his videos, like his max cape races, whenever there's like a new Deadman mode or leagues, those are always interesting because the metas are never predefined. Really, you have to think ahead and plan what you're gonna do. Like, he stayed in the lower combat bracket, so then he could do Slayer during his 1 hour of protection for every single bracket, and that got him to like 90 plus Slayer completely safely. And I just think that like having a bunch of things that are changed, and you just have to adapt to the changes and uncertainties and that kind of stuff is really cool to me.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of it. I would also say King of the Skill, because it is similar. Like, besides RuneScape, my other big interest is speedrunning, and so both of these rely heavily on how good a route you can make. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited about the content. I don't know if they'll ever do that, but besides that, something that I don't remember the last time they did it, but I want them not just skilling stuff, but related as just sponsored events, as having more player designed content contests.
It has been at least like 6 or 7 years. Probably.
Yeah, I want more of those.
So, also, I think that it doesn't even have to be like a cash prize or anything. It could just be membership, which is kind of cash, but it doesn't.
That's what they did with the King of the Skill winners.
Yeah.
Was that those accounts got lifetime membership?
Yeah, and I also think like listening back on the old Hexis podcast, I remember like several times it was said that like the scoring procedure and like getting all the results and all that is like, if you guys aren't going to be able to do this properly, then we just rather not have the events at all. And yeah, sometimes I feel like maybe that could have been them taking it like for what you got, like taking it literally, and they just feel like we don't want that kind of stuff anymore. And
yeah, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure there were people from that King of the Skill, which happened, I don't even know how many years ago, that never got paid out. Well, their rewards.
There was one guy I know that was still waiting more than 2 years after.
Yeah.
Because I remember he would post.
Yeah, I know it's at least that long.
Yeah. Because, like, I remember there was a post on Reddit that had, like, 10K
Day, like, of not getting reward.
Yeah. Well, like, he posted on there and was like, this is the 1 year anniversary of me winning King of the Skill. I have yet to receive my reward.
This is the 2 year anniversary.
Yeah. And something like that. And like both times that he posted it, it was the like most upvoted post of the day on the RuneScape subreddit. So I don't know. What I would most like to see would be a King of the Skill, but a little bit different from like Abra and Plundering with you guys. I don't want it to be something to where you have to plan out your path or anything like that. I think that you should be able to start at do it, but you start off as a maxed account. I want it to be who is the best at clicking, not necessarily who is the best at planning a path out. I would like.
How would you win then if you start a max account? Like,
who has the most XP at the end?
Oh, you know what that actually reminds me of? That reminds me of something. It hasn't happened yet, but they discussed at one point of having like a reverse order thing where you start out maxed and you have to try to get to 1.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too.
I love that idea too. I actually would. I think just because it's a novel idea that hasn't been done yet, I think I'd rather see that than a King of the Skill right now.
Yeah, but right now I'm still curious how that will work, because like
start off,
you can't like
you have to plan it out correctly.
Yeah, I mean,
how long would the events be, for example?
Well, so
I don't know, and also you might have boosted XP.
What they've done so I would have no boosted XP because you don't need that because you're already at 99. What they had before with the King of the Skill is that you had like it was a 1 month, like I think it might have been November, and it was like from November 1st to November 30th, you have your account can be logged in for 24 hours. And after those 24 hours are up, your account just locks off of those workers.
Right.
So I would have it be something like that. You've got 24 hours. You have a 1 month time frame, and you start. Every account starts off as a max total level account. So at this point, it is strictly who is the best at clicking, not who is the best at planning out a path. At certain
everyone's
levels.
just gonna do like the fastest skill, right? Like what's the recent thing, like agility, for example?
I mean, they would have it for each skill. They also did that for King.
So I want to see who is the best at that skill. It would be who's
skill, and then there was like total level or total XP.
Yeah.
So
like I don't know if I would have like the total XP or the total, maybe the XP one, but like the total level obviously would be one, but like I want to be able to see like who, if given 24 hours and all the, pretty much make it like those test worlds where you can just generate any item that you want.
Just make it like so we can see who the best is at each skill and the best is overall.
Yeah. So like if you have 24 hours to woodcut, who is gonna put together the best 24 hours of that? Who's going to do the best 24 hours of mining? And, from skill to skill to skill. That would be how I would like to see King of the Skill, because that, I think, is something that, obviously they haven't done, whereas, the winners previously have been who's got the best path more so than who's... Obviously, the people that are winning are good at clicking, but a lot of it has been heavily based on who has the better plan to get to the point to doing the metas. That would be how I would like to see it. So King of the Skill, but with a little bit of a tweak to it. And then, like whoever wins, like give each of the winners of the skill like lifetime membership on an account of their choice. Like I think back to like Jebrun, had I think 4 of the top 5 agility ones, and they gave out membership for like top 3-ish or some shit like that. It wasn't just might have even been top 5 for that matter, but like I know
I think it was like the first place got
lifetime, then a year, then 6 months.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that. That would be like what my rewards would be. It wouldn't be cash related. I mean, they certainly wouldn't be lacking to get sponsorships. I know that they had like, you guys see like this RuneScape themed like PC that they had. Like,
oh
yeah.
I mean,
like
it's
Starforge or something.
Yeah, I think
yeah. You could just do that for whoever wins the like the overall. You know, so that would be how I would do it. Anyone got any more on that?
I think it looks good.
All right, so they a couple weeks ago made a change with a post called "The Future of Deathmatching." So to give a little bit of context before we get into it, is they removed the duel arena in 2022 as a way of stopping players from real world trading or like feeding into that system, and that was what their reasoning was for the removal at the time. Players then started to deathmatch in PvP worlds for GP as a way around that. And like they did that immediately. It was like, yep, okay, here's the loophole right away in response. Like people would, like, I'll take like Lumbridge, for example. They'd trade each other. They'd see, okay, you've got a bill, I've got a bill, let's step out, let's get at it. And then they would deathmatch, and obviously whoever wins then gets that GP. That was like a loophole that they would do to get around that. And that has pretty much taken the place of the duel arena with the like the loophole of getting around the duel arena. But now they made a post that deathmatching for GP is no longer allowed, and they stated that it violates the games of chance. They will now ban players and remove wealth for the first offense, and then subsequent offenses will result in a permanent ban. So, what do you guys think of their aggressive stance on banning this activity? You respect it? What are your thoughts on it? So talk about that. I think that, yeah, it's certainly pretty late. I think this is honestly something that should have been done within a month of the duel arena getting removed because of how widespread it immediately became afterwards. And it wasn't like this was some unknown thing. Like there'd be a lot of very popular streams that would be of people doing the deathmatching for GP. So if their whole intention was we need to get rid of this because it violates the game of chance, I'm just kind of curious, like, why did it take so long to get this? But that in mind, like, better late than never. So I think that, the deathmatching for GP, if their stance is no duel arena, deathmatching for GP, like, is the loophole. And I respect the stance of saying, yeah, you guys are trying to get around what we had done. Here is our response to that.
So I think that it's definitely a good idea to get that activity out of the game. So when they removed the duel arena, I believe it was because because of like the gambling laws in the UK, because their bonds exist, gold inherently has like a real world value. And because of that, you can't have games of chance involving that's sanctioned by the game. And that's why they just removed the duel arena. And deathmatching doesn't hurt them legally. And that's why they took so long to get rid of it. And I believe also...
So can you explain that point again? I'm sorry.
So in the UK, it's not allowed to have like items or things in a game that has a real world value. So if that item or thing can be purchased with real world money, then it inherently becomes gambling. Okay. And they don't allow gambling in games that are aimed for people under like
another one.
Whatever.
Yeah, same thing as like them gutting the random loot boxes in other games.
Yeah, and that was also why they removed free trade back in the day. That was a credit card thing, but it was it was a legal situation, so they were forced to do that.
Yeah, because they kept getting chargebacks from stolen cards.
Yeah, and so I think that the reason that they waited until now to make deathmatching bannable is because, like, you know, they're I mean, he's pretty much the most popular content creator or the most viewed. Like, Odablock, he does a lot of deathmatching, but he's recently stated, like, he wishes that it were gone because there's just so much scamming that goes around, and he doesn't even need that to create content anymore. Like, he's good enough at PKing, he can just do risk fighting instead of that, which is it's treated differently because it's actually skill based and not just random chance. So he does that, and plus he's doing like hardcore Iron Man stuff nowadays. So I think that because they know that he was for them removing deathmatching, that they wouldn't be hurt in terms of like advertising to the viewers. Like they wouldn't lose like a popular content creator from the game, and that like made them feel safe enough to remove it without like losing a lot of revenue.
I think that tracks.
Would have had some, surely some influence.
Pretty much, yeah. I would say pretty much same as you, Randy. Yeah, if it was done earlier, that would have been better. I feel like they're kind of always behind on these types of things, but yeah, better late than never.
I would prefer, I guess, Duel Arena still intact. Now, obviously, I don't know, like the legal portion of it. I'd prefer a Duel Arena still in place, but with a tax, and I'd increase that tax, and I would scale it up.
I think they did have a tax.
They had a tax for a little bit, yeah. And it was removing trills from the game.
Yeah, it was only 1% though. I think I definitely agree. If there weren't any legal issues, I think that they could slowly increase the Duel Arena tax to find like a medium where players wouldn't be disincentivized to go find other non-sanctioned gambling methods.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because now people always find a way around this. Like now that this is out, like they're still gonna find other things. I've already heard of other things that people are doing.
Well, like I mean,
like they removed the
crackers. The Christmas crackers were like went from like 200K to like 3 mil, because those were being used for games of chance a few months ago, like earlier this year.
And then they patched that out, and the value's slowly going down. It's very nice to see, but yeah, they always find some way of anything where there's RNG involved can potentially be exploited. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing. I mean, there's obviously some. I mean, there's nothing that they can do to completely remove it. So I would rather that it's a game run thing like the Duel Arena or something like in the games room, that they could have like just wagering and it's sanctioned by the game, and then there's a tax, so then it's also helpful for the economy.
I mean, I'd always rather it be skill based than just random. Like if you could bet on fucking Randalicious and stuff, I'd love that.
And the main issue is just that if it's not game sanctioned, then it just opens up people to being scammed. And and also just bad behavior in general, just scamming and like doxing and reward trading, all that kind of stuff. It just becomes much more prevalent in those communities when they have to go to a non-game sanctioned place to do that kind of stuff.
People will still do
it. And I was gonna say, and also if it was sanctioned and taxed, like I was asking about, like, I was asking Ash if he thinks that enough gold is going out of the game, or if we need more sinks. It's like we probably do.
Do need more sinks?
Yeah, and I mean, I would definitely say that we would need more gold sinks. Like, shit's getting ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's also probably due to the bots being banned more often. But I was gonna say, like, yeah, players will always find a way. I mean, I heard something, it might have been a meme, but like people are gambling by teleporting to Camelot, and if you land on a certain square, then you win, and if you don't land on that square, you lose. Like there's 5 possible. There's 5 possible tiles that you can land on, and if you land on 2 of them, that's a win, and then the house gets that extra 20% odds. It's just nutty. Like,
realistically, what is even the purpose of having multiple destination tiles besides to stop like the simplest bot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's very true, and I agree with that. But it just proves my point. Like, people are going to be degenerates no matter what, and you just can't stop that kind of thing in a game that's inherently based on RNG.
That actually reminds me. I don't remember when it was. It might have been a decade ago, but like, I did one instance of something where it's like, oh, even or odds, and I went and attacked the guards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything.
Yeah.
That Camelot teleport is fucking funny. Wow. God.
Like, I'm trying to think of what's good comes from deathmatching. Like,
Nothing.
there's some issues. Like I think the
the
biggest issue is the
duel arena.
ability.
Yeah,
The
at least
only
the duel arena
argument,
took out money through taxes.
the only argument I could see was just content creation. I mean, it brings people to the game, even if we don't want those kind of players. But yeah, just not a good thing to have in the game overall.
It's like, I've heard people like those doing deathmatching, they're actually starting to like gamble IRL now. Like, ironically, they go to
it's a pipeline.
Yeah, definitely. I have
like gamble sites IRL.
Or actually, it's even the other way around, that people would buy gold and gamble with that in game.
Yeah.
Well, because they'd have better odds in game than they would a casino in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't know. That's why I like make that tax heavy enough. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you could profit gambling like long term, because there was like hosts, like they would get like 5% extra.
Oh,
like
yeah. So they banned that. Like that was
banned first.
Yeah, that was the first thing they did was commission staking, and
No. So what I'm
they
saying
banned
is like
commission staking.
No, that's not what I mean. It's like if you DH each other,
Yeah,
it's like you pay someone like a bill, right?
Okay.
And then you deathmatch that person, you pay a bill, and if you win, you get like 450 mil, and if you lose like 550. Does that make sense?
I'm a little confused, but I'm guessing roundabout it's still a commission type thing.
I think it was like
you're saying, I think what you're saying is middlemaning. I'm talking like what?
No, like some people had better odds based on like stats.
Oh,
yeah, like middleman.
So then,
the middleman would actually stake, if that makes sense, and that guy would get like extra money.
Yes, I mean there was like even that one streamer who ended up getting like a 1 trillion GP bank. He was like doing shit. He was doing no, it wasn't that guy. I don't think it was BTCs or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I need 1 mil. I think has like 300 bill.
Well, yeah. Anyway, he was like abusing some type of PID system, stepping out on a certain tile, so then he could guarantee the first hit, which put his odds at like 55 or 60% over the other player, and long term that resulted in him being the first person to get a 1 trillion GP bank. Like, if you get just a little bit of odds, and long term you can profit, but it's just, there's always people that are trying to cheat the system to get those extra odds and then be able to profit.
I didn't know there was some kind of glitch that he was abusing. That's pretty wild.
Oh, I don't know when this was, but I know several years ago they actually changed the PID system so that it's dynamic. Because it used to just be you had a number as soon as you logged in. Now you get a new PID every minute.
Even for that minute, it would be valuable to have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it changes randomly now, but
I don't know.
Yeah, he would just like step in and out of the safe spot on a certain tile, and by doing that, it would somehow guarantee that he gets the first hit because the other person wouldn't know about the mechanic.
Mm.
And he actually showcased it kind of against Odablock, and Odeblock was like getting really pissed because he was losing every single time. He didn't understand what was going on. And then afterwards, the mechanic was revealed to him, and he was like, yeah, that's fucked up. And, he pretty much denounced BTC's the guy who's feeding the system.
Okay. That's interesting. I'd like to read or watch a little bit more on that. I would be so pissed off if I was him. Because, it'd be one thing if you were just doing it with any random person and, because essentially what's happening is you're getting scammed.
Yeah. Well, at least he got perm banned, so 1 trillion GP removed from the game.
Nowadays, that's not as
it's
big a deal.
Yeah, it's still 1 trillion, probably a couple weeks worth of the GE tax.
All right. Move on. I'm going to remove that one. We were going to talk about I think we've probably covered that enough. Jagex increased the price of bonds. Now, again, for you non-Americans, I'm sorry. But they increased the price of the bonds from $8 to $9. Bonds were already at an all-time high in the game. Although, looking real quick, their bonds are down to 12 mil. They were at 14. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're still at a very high price. But they increased from 8 to 9. What do you think about the price increase? So, I don't know. I think combination of inflation, and I'm curious, do they factor it in at all the price of the in-game bond, for GP? If all of a sudden the in-game bond went to 20 mil, would they increase the price of the bond? For real money to buy? I think they probably would.
Absolutely not.
I don't think that the in-game price would make them change the real price, but yeah, that's just a cause and effect thing, and I don't think that they would intentionally raise the price solely because the in-game price is higher.
If anything, having a higher price means more people will buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I don't know. I feel like
it might be.
It seems reasonable to me. It's not too much. I've never bought bonds for money, but if you factor in the inflation in real life, the inflation in game, both are pretty fucking high, to be fair. And it's been quite a while since an increase, I believe. I know that when they initially came out, I think it was $6 for a bond. And I think bonds were under 5 mil at that time as well. So bonds now being 12, 14 mil and $9 seems pretty reasonable. And then keeping up with had it kept up with inflation on its initial year of introduction, it's still worth less now. It's at a good price.
Yeah, I'm not too. I'm not really upset about it. I was on.
Sorry,
I'd say on the day they announced that they're going to do it, I was kind of pitchforks with everyone, but it's having time pass, it is probably pretty reasonable because they also have to keep up with wages and
Yeah. Plus, it didn't even affect the regular membership costs at all.
Yeah. That's a big point there.
So that's the saving grace for them. I don't care at all if they increase the price of bonds as long as the membership isn't increased without any additional benefit. And going off of that, I think that if the recent increase in price of bonds leads to more more customer support or something coming up soon,
you would hope.
I would definitely be okay with that, more than okay with that. And I also heard that they are looking for customer support. They're actively hiring, and yeah, they they do have like positions open for that.
Yeah, that's the difference, is if they're just doing it to increase profit, or if it's for one, increase in labor costs and everything else that goes into it, and any additional features.
Would you?
Yeah.
So with this, those positions allegedly coming, I imagine it's going to be like they allow them to work from home, but like I think their work from home staff like still has to be like, in the UK, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it has to be like within a 50-mile radius, like at a maximum, probably.
I would like, obviously it's not gonna happen, but if I could be,
you want to move there and be Arthur Port?
I am not moving there. But I'm saying like if I could do like some remote work from my home to help out with like the customer service, like the support system, I would do it. Not full time, but like if I could do it like 12 hours a week, I would sign up for that.
Honestly, if like in the current state of America, if I could like have a guaranteed job waiting for me if I was able to like get up to the requirements or standards that they needed, I would definitely like be willing to move over to the UK. But the fact that you need a visa and all that, and that requires like some type of technical skill in order to be considered, like that's just the whole loophole that would prevent me from doing that. But yeah.
Yeah. If I could like 12, and that would be whether it be like helping out with customer service or community support, 12 hours a week, I would sign up for it.
You'd be pulling someone over, and mid traffic stop, you got to call that someone got banned.
No, it would definitely be on my off days. We have a potential change coming up in our schedule that we're looking to maybe modify to be like 4 days on, 4 days off, and they'd be 12. Right now we do 4 days on, 2 days off, but the 4 on, 4 off, they'd be like 12-hour shifts. Dude, if I had 4 days off, I could literally do anything. Like I could take on like an actual full job during that time and work like 20 hours. I'm not saying that I would, but like it wouldn't be like some actual, like I wouldn't go stocking shelves or anything that's like physically demanding, but like if I could just do something remote, that could even be streaming myself trying to catch up to Sebbe.
I'd love to have something like that. My work schedule sucks.
Yeah, it's something we're thinking about, is switching the 4 on, 4 off, 12-hour shifts. Oh, I would. That would be fantastic. I'm not really too productive on my. Back to RuneScape.
Yeah, Seb.
Yeah, what's up?
You're on the docket.
The price increase.
What do you think about you had bomb price change from $8 to $9?
Yes, like I'm gonna be honest. I think Jagex could double the price of the bonds, and we will still buy it, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to give Jagex any ideas here, but like...
Do you mean like in-game price, right? or real-life price?
No, but it's the same thing, right? To increase double the price IRL.
It's all just based on the ratio of how many mil per dollar.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but if they double the price IRL, it's going to double the price in game too, right?
Theoretically. But no, I remember when they announced it. Sorry, I cut you off, but I'm finished. But the day they announced it, spawns instantly shot up like 2 mil, and I was like, oh no, it's probably gonna go even higher, especially long term. So I bought myself a year's worth of bonds, and then now it's actually lower right now than when I bought that. So I noticed, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just buy another year's worth right now, and I can't even use them.
They don't let you stack.
You can't have.
My friend had that issue. Like, it says that you already have that package.
So I don't know if you have to wait 365 days since you redeemed it last, or if your account just has to have less than a year's worth of membership. Either way, I still have to wait. Because I have like a year, 4 months.
my friend had that issue even though he was free to play.
I don't know then.
Yeah, he just couldn't use it on the year, 6-month or 3-month packages, or I think the 3-month one's removed, but yeah, you can't use them for like the discounted rates or whatever. So that sucks.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking at the graph. This is the first time since May that there's been any meaningful decline in bond price, GP wise.
And that's pretty much only because of the passcode thing. That's the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, just because, like, generally, it seemed overall, like, every year, it was very seasonal. Like, it still trended upwards, but there were clear times when it went up and down, and then, like,
not
for the longest time, it's just been going up.
Yeah, so, like, I'm looking at the year graph. A year ago today, they were, like, 8.4 to 9 mil, and now they're 12, but, like, they were 14.
With an all-time of 14, yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of see like they were 8.5 mil last August, and then they got up to it wasn't until January that it hit the 10 mil mark, and then like it kept rising. Then for some reason it dropped from 10.8 to 9.3 in March, but then just kept climbing. And yeah, I mean, a month ago they were 13.9.
Yeah, when I bought the first year, they were 14. When I just bought another year, like a week or so ago, it was for 12.5.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, they be fucking moving.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, kind of on the bond topic, do you pay for your membership with bonds in game or with real life money?
I think probably overall over my whole career, at least for old school, like back in RS2 days, it was all like real money. They would just like come out of my allowance. But for old school, maybe 2 years worth. Like at the very beginning, when the service just came out, I would go to my local 7-Eleven or Rite Aid and pick up the membership cards. But eventually it was just swap money over to RS3, buy bonds. Eventually, when we got old school bonds, just do that. I've probably only a handful of individual months use actual money, and that's just for like security, so that I can point to like, oh, this account's mine because I have the details of the payment on the exact day.
That's good.
But overall, it's just, 95% plus of bonds.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't think I've paid any real money for old school. But yeah, in the past, I didn't get allowance, but my mom would like give me $2 or $2.50 or something for lunch, and I'd give my friend $1 for a sandwich that his mom made. And I just eat that for my lunch and save that the rest of the money for whatever I want to do.
Absolute hustle.
No, I did something similar to that.
Shit. What's your story on that, Abra?
Oh, I just meant, it was with lunch money. It's like I would get a certain amount. I would still try to get food somehow, but yeah, I would overall, like, profits, pocket a little bit of it.
I remember, like, when I first would have gotten membership, like, I think like 2006, 2007, somewhere in that. I think 2006, and I was, too young to have anything. So like, I remember asking my parents for them to fucking put in their card, and they were so suspicious.
Oh yeah, no, I had to convince them, like when it first started to give me a membership. I'd be like, "Ooh, there's all this extra content. Name me remember."
Yo, my first time getting membership, I mailed in money.
No, I never did that.
I remember.
I know
like,
that was
so
an option. Yeah, there was another option where like you could have them charge your like your phone.
Yeah,
provider.
like my grandma in Japan had like given me $100 or something for Chinese New Year's or something, and
Japan, China.
Basically, my mom was like, you have to convince your grandma, so you're just gonna have to write a letter to her in Japanese. And then she was like, okay with it. So then I ended up mailing the cash to Jagex HQ, and like it took a couple weeks to get the membership, but when I finally logged in and saw that I had membership, I was like so excited for the first time. Such a good feeling. We had like, I was at like the library, the public library, and there were a couple other guys who played RuneScape. So I was like messaging them in game, dude, I just got membership. So then, and he lived near the library, so he just like ran over to the library to show me like all this cool shit that I should do. Since I just got membership for the first time.
Man, I don't even know anyone anymore, like IRL that plays. There used to be people back when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Like the first few months when Old School came out, I think that I had nearly a dozen people IRL that played, and probably like 6 months after, most of them withered away. I still know a few that play, but they're not, I mean, none of them are fucking us, but they,
Raising.
Well, no, I mean, more so than anything, I kind of took it as an insult. Like, if you take the, like, we collectively might have 100,000 fucking hours on this game. So
I'm getting up there.
So
I passed 20K a few months ago, maybe a month ago. I don't know.
Abra, you over 20?
Yeah.
It should be around December, I think, is I'll be hitting 30.
So yeah, I mean, like, we probably have 100,000 hours between the four of us. So yeah, no, they are not us in terms of that.
Yeah, and that's just on the level 3. I have a 500 days logged on my alt.
So I wouldn't even count alts really.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
If it was multi-log, nah.
Yeah, I don't even know how much then.
All right, last bit on this, and we'll move on, and I'll take off that next question as well. So, like, with the hours, I saw that. So, like, I don't actually know how much I have played on my main, and I don't check. I checked when like Hans came out and initially allowed you to check, because that was a cool day. Because a lot of people were able to like post what their efficiency was. You know, like for example, Bradford Lee was the most efficient player in the game, because he had only done thousands of hours of agility, and that agility was at the Artie course, and Artie was EHP. So he was the most efficient player in the game. But you were able to like look at your like time played versus your EHP gained in that like that snapshot moment in time, and that was a really cool time. And never checked afterwards, and surely it's
my efficiency's been in the bin.
Hey,
with doing stars and NMT.
As long as you make progress, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Slow and steady.
But I did check on my alt, and my alt I passed 500 days recently, so my alt has 12,000 hours. All right. So coming out next week is going to be a new Slayer boss, Araxxor. With that, it's going to make 7 Slayer bosses in the game. When you do or did Slayer, did you kill any of the Slayer bosses? What was your favorite Slayer boss? Talk about any kind of Slayer boss experience you have.
I have 0 Slayer boss experience, but I feel like that would be like a really massive flex on a level 3, and there's definitely some that are viable. Well, especially if you include like the wilderness bosses. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know much about them, but it could be fun to try that out on like a restricted build.
Have you looked into it all? So like similar to how the Wilderness Slayer works. When I've seen like a level 3 with like a Chaos Elemental pet, I think.
Yeah,
how does shit like that work?
Yeah, there's like some weird mechanics, but basically it requires using a lot of ults to lower the defense first, so then you can land a hit with poison dynamite, which gives you the kill credit. And then you also have to not deal true damage over the amount of damage that you did on your level 3. So that means using Venom, Vengeance, Retribution, that kind of stuff. And for Wilderness bosses specifically, you can also log out, like, in the time that the NPC is dying, or you just Venom it and then log out before it dies. So then the level 3 can get full credit. Yeah, there's like a lot of janky stuff like that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically true damage versus neutral damage. Neutral damage is stuff like poison, venom, vengeance, recoils, retribution, and I think that's it.
I don't know if this is really going to be very feasible on level 3. Well, especially because it's in Mauritania. But because I'm pretty sure Araxxor is instanced.
Yeah, instance would definitely probably not be very possible. But yeah, there is Randy who has a level 3.
Yeah, I know there's some.
Gotten access to Mauritania, so yeah.
Wait, Randy's gonna attempt to level 3 or?
No, I'm
He
talking
had-
about. Oh, sorry.
He has a level 3 now with a fire cape that has access to Mauritania, I think,
Correct.
or yeah, and he also has like top KC on it now because of the access to Mauritania or something like that, and also Perilous Moons KC, which is insane. And now he's like got this ultimate goal of getting the Bloodhound on a level 3.
Wow. So on the Slayer bosses, I didn't do it as I was going for a 200 mil Slayer, and I kind of wish that I, like, looking back, if I did boss Slayer, I don't know if I would have still been able to finish like front page overall. So because of that, I don't regret having just done Efficient Slayer the whole way. But for anyone that is currently chasing XP, I would absolutely recommend doing Slayer bosses. Being a more well-rounded just experience of the game is certainly a better way to play it than what I did. And yeah, like doing some of the Slayer bosses now, like looking at that, like I've had fun. I haven't done much Serb at all, but I did a couple hours of it, and I thought that was fun. Did not much at all of the Thermi boss, but like that was also like I had fun in the very limited times that I have spent on them so far. I haven't done the Garg boss or Abyssal Sire. There's another one that I'm missing, but I think that they're really cool concepts that come into the game, and I mean, I thought that they had more than 7 Slayer bosses. I guess it's just that they've come out with things that aren't technically Slayer bosses, but like they are part of a Slayer task, so they kind of like
right. Yeah, these are just bosses that are locked behind the Slayer level.
Yeah. So like, you know, if they came out with one of these a year, I'd be very fine with that. I think that these are generally pretty good updates. So
yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially if you plan on continuing to play post 200 mil. Like even now,
or help,
like yeah, and I'm like getting in the mindset that I should be trying to finish like things on the way, because it's just wasted time if I do it after maxing the skills. So like I greenlogged Mahogany Holmes recently on the way to finishing 200 mil construction, just in case I feel like doing some collection log stuff in the future.
And then you still got fishing, so you could do some temporos and aerial fishing.
I don't know about aerial fishing because I already finished Hunter. Plus, it looks kind of AIDS.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I did a couple, not all of them. Although I guess that's combining just things that you can do on task versus strictly Slayer stuff. Like I pretty much just did a couple of them for the pets, and then as soon as I got that, I stopped. So like,
Which ones?
Let's see, Kraken,
Kraken was
Cerberus,
one of the ones I forgot.
Thermi, Caliphite Queen, and Vorkath. So two of those are, just
Yeah.
normal ones.
I
Yeah,
don't.
and speaking of Temporos, that's my last skilling related pet that I don't have. I have 11 or 12, whatever it is up to now, and Tiny Tempo is the last one.
Would you be willing to
I finally
wait
got
for the chance that they'll make it 15 times rated 200 mil?
Yeah, I recently tweeted Modash or it was Levine who did, but basically we were asking if they could change the Tiny Tempo and Herbie and might have been those two.
I mean, there's precedence.
And Guardians of the Rift because of the precedents that they set for Wintertot and releasing the Quetzal pet already having that mechanic without any like community input. So I feel like they could use that as a precedence thing for saying that they can do that without a poll.
Would they?
And they do, and they have seemed open to it. Like they said that they discussed doing it for Herbie, so then they would probably do it for Tiny Temper at the same time if they did do that.
They should just clear it and do it for all of them that are skilling related.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just for consistency and because, like, I don't think it's sufficient to do any, get any pet just by doing 200 mil in the skill first, unless you also plan on doing 200 mil all.
Yeah.
Or at least nowadays, because it used to be, like Plunder or whatever.
Yeah.
Very much. All right, cutting back to the Slayer boss stuff here as we're going is and there's a number of rewards that are coming, but a couple ones that I more so wanted to focus on is one of the rewards from the new boss is going to be some kind of think of it as upgradescape, an upgraded version of the Amulet of Torture, which will be giving plus 25 in all attack stats and plus 12 melee strength. So this will be an increase of plus 10 to the attack stats and plus 2 to melee. So if you think about like some of the stuff, like when they buffed the scythe, I think they buffed that. I mean this, and then that made the scythe so much better. I mean that ignorant statement there, I don't fuck. But what do you think about this as a reward and the idea of upgrading the torture, or your idea on upgradescape in general?
Yeah, so I think this is the Amulet of Rancor.
Yep.
Weird name, but yeah, no, it looks nice, and it's kind of funny. They actually have to buff it from the initial proposal, because it's like, well, when would you ever use it over how prevalent the Blood Fury is? So that's why they did that.
It's just making it that much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, making it so it actually has a use instead of just always using Blood Fury. But I would say probably generally always a fan of upgradescape, so the stuff doesn't become irrelevant. And because like it'd be so weird to have a scenario where like way more of this new thing is coming in and it's better but somehow cheaper than like the Xenet stuff. I don't know, like people still value like Bandos because it's required for Torva and stuff like that. Range boots maintain value instead of going to 0 because something new comes out. I like that.
Okay,
Randy?
I think you're up. Oh no. I think that it's a good idea. Yeah, the upgradescape, definitely big fan of that. And again, that kind of goes into the idea of like if you were an Iron Man, and again, I think that like playing an Iron Man post max is probably the most fun way that you can play this game. Like chasing gear, that I think is probably the best way to play the game. That in mind, this will be nice. I'm curious,
I agree with that.
I'm curious on like how this will impact the Blood Shard price, because the Blood Fury is not going to be best everywhere then. So like will we see the Blood Fury go back down to the prices where like a little bit over a year ago, I think that Blood Shards were like under 6 mil. Like I remember
they were 5 at one point.
I was like selling batches before at like 5.4 mil, I recall. And like as we sit here, let me look. I'm pulling up the graph. Holy like shit! 50. I was not selling them back a year ago. They were like 4.6 mil August of last year, and then it wasn't until like January this year where they went from, so in December, like Christmas, they were 5.2, and a month later they were 8.8. I sold a shit ton of them there, like in January when they hit like that 8 or 9 mil threshold, and they kind of like floated between the 8-ish mil range, but went down in April to like under 6, and I'm sorry, in May they were back at 5.5, and they've just fucking shot up since and stayed like at that high price. So
yeah, I think that
wonder if it'll prices historically have been, which is like sub.
Probably not that low, because most of the increase now is because of bot bans.
Well, I think
it also has to do with the Coliseum being like the best in slot.
Oh, well, okay, that's
yeah. It's a good contributor towards it. But yeah, I mean, it's a substantial buff though. But yeah, I do get it with if they need to make it enough to where it then takes the place of the Blood Fury. I get that. I'm curious how much it'll be, and like I'll plan on getting one for all my alts. So go kill that Slayer boss, boys.
Oh, and I think that the way they're doing it, like with the upgrade thing, they did it in a really good way this time, especially with how they are making the end product tradable. But once you get the drop, you need to have like 85 something crafting or something like that in order to attach it to the torture to make it tradable. So just getting the drop isn't enough. You need to craft it into something to sell it. It's similar to the Soul Reaper axe, except there's only one piece.
Yeah, I like how they do it.
That'll impact crafting prices at all. Then, if like you need 85 crafting to sell this drop, is what it's doing.
I mean, that always happens. I know her prices went up when raids were coming out because people wanted the overloads.
I think that's a cool thing. It gives you a reason to want to actually train crafting aside from like, hey, let me get the max cape because it's best in slot. Like, here's an actual, like, there will be hundreds of people, and maybe even more than that, to be honest. There will be hundreds of people that are going to go, all right, got to level up my crafting because of this drop, and I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Giving people motivation to step out of their comfort zone and experience the game.
Well, with production stuff, I would say. Because when you get into gathering stuff, that's when you start to get people complaining and asking for faster methods.
Yeah.
But crafting and stuff is already fast, so.
Yeah.
And regarding...
Like 6 hours to go from like fucking level 60 to 80.
Yes.
Regarding the overall viability of the Amulet of Rancor, I think I've seen things like people are saying that the Blood Fury will probably still be used most places because this one isn't it isn't enough of an increase in DPS because of the way the Scythe max hit thing works. Like every three max hits or something, then that also adds a max hit to the second and third hit slots. And this current max hit only adds 1 total max hit, but the next one will add 3 max hits overall because of the triple hit splat thing.
Wow.
So, like, if they made it +2 or +4 more melee strength than it already is, then it would be, like, obviously better than the Blood Fury. But the way they have it now, it's kind of a toss-up.
Okay, interesting.
I think it's really good that they had like a new best stat to Amulet's a melee, not like ranger mage. It's kind of like what Randy talked about, right? It's like Blood Fury is like really OP for melee, right? So like this amulet technically won't be best in slot. I mean, in terms of DPS it will be, but like people still prefer the Blood Fury, right? And but yeah, for like good PVMers that can like play without the Blood Fury, this would be like a really good option for them.
Or like for
just
Slayer.
like yeah, true for the skillers, right? Pretty good.
A funny thing, actually, I just realized that I don't know how long it's going to be until it happens. Especially since they finally did the Project Rebounds, when we're going to get like a new magic amulet, because the one that we have right now we've had since 2014.
Well,
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean the thing about that is that like with that being nerfed is that like they can release. Here's the thing: they could come out with a boss
that's
that
the whole reason they did it.
Yeah. There's no actual room to improve on the amulet.
But now there
of
is.
how OP it was. But yeah, they could come out with an actual fucking update that like pretty essentially re-releases.
Yeah,
there you go. Infinite update glitch. Just keep doing that.
I mean, that's definitely one way to do it and extend the longevity of the game.
Yeah. Oh, shit. All right, so moving on to one of the posts that they had, which is the reintroducing of Slayer partners. So Slayer partners was recently added back into the game after having been removed. I think it was a couple years ago. It was removed because it was used for some absolute fuckery bug abuse on Slayer tasks, resulting in players getting, like, an example, getting nothing but like Necreals, Smoke Devils, and the other like most XP per hour tasks. They wouldn't have to use any Slayer points, and it was just as fucked as you would. Now, you would have to spend quite a bit of time getting an alt prepped to do that, but if you were a serious gamer and you were going for 200 mil, that would be this wouldn't be anything more than like a speed bump in the way in terms of like getting an account set up to abuse the method. That being said, what do you think about the Slayer partners being re-added back into the game? Have you seen any bugs similar to like what I just said before? What are your thoughts on Slayer partners? So I think that it's really stupid. The idea of like, oh, I'd like to stand next to my friend and we both kill the. I don't like that. Sure, it is a massive multiplayer online role playing game, but my fear for how much it can be abused far exceeds that of any potential social benefit that you get from slaying while standing next to a friend. And also, like, any task that's worthwhile of actually doing, you don't want people to be around you either. Whether that be for doing something for, whether it's a boss or a Slayer boss, or if it is a task that you were focusing on XP. I don't know what tasks you would actually want to do with your friends around you where their presence doesn't hinder your XP if you're using it in the way in which their staffing, or I'm sorry, their development, their idea of how it would be implemented is. So I've seen some bugs where on Twitter, let me try to pull it up here quick, is that like people were doing tasks and someone was able to leave their task several kills before the task actually completed. And let me see. Hold on. Trying to find it. Here you go. So since they reintroduced the partner Slayer, you can do Wildy Slayer and leave the party 2 to 3 kills before your task ends. You can get full points. So because of that, what it does is it allows you to get like in excess of like 800 points per hour with a good block list. So it
how does that compare to the old like points per hour?
I do not have the old reported points per hour, but it's more.
Certainly less.
It's yeah. You're able to get more now, because you're able to end your task early and still get those full points. So however it is that it works out to be, you're able to get more points per hour for a boost. Like, you're able to get more points per hour because of that. And that, again, is like and that's just the first thing that I've seen on it in terms of like how people are abusing the Slayer partner system. So, the public didn't know about the the fuckery that like resulted in the actual removal of it, where it was having the alt essentially where you were only going to get like a certain couple tasks. That was months after, to where like the public started finding out about that. So there might be something even more overpowered that we just don't know yet or hasn't been solved. So I just think the Slayer partners is a silly idea.
I think it's hard for them to prevent all of the abuse cases that could result because of it, but they did they did have some forethought by making you need like total possible tasks needs to be at least 10, so then you can't just only get the best 3 or 4 tasks. So they had like some type of forethought, but I don't think they were able to think of all of the possible abuse cases. And if it just feels to me just something for group Ironmen. Like, those are the only type of accounts that I see like really using it for what it's meant to be, like as a way to train Slayer together, and also maybe like boss tasks or something to boost kills per hour. I'm not really sure on what that involves, though.
All right, I'll say that I hadn't thought about group Ironmen. So thank you for that. I can see some viability with that then in mind.
Yeah, besides group, I don't think the content's going to be used very much at all. Like, I'm going to be totally honest. Like, as soon as the update blog came out, like, right before seeing this question, I kind of forgot it was even back in game. But yeah, no, I actually hadn't seen anyone talking about it, so I didn't even know there was one issue, if that kind of goes to that point.
Yeah, I pretty much just read the news post, saw the part where it says that you need to get like at least 30% or 20% of the kills with full kill credit, and I was like, nah, that's not going to help me, and I just forgot about it. That pretty much prevents me from being able to benefit from the update as a level 3. And so, but I still have the old method, so I'm like, either way, I'm not really upset about it or happy about it. It's just a thing, and I pretty much forgot about it once it was released.
All right.
And I did want to bring up, like, for people who don't know, like, what was going on before, there's, like, a clear example, probably one of the most blatant, like, false records on Temple that still remains. The XP tracking site Temple OSRS, like, the Slayer 6-hour, the 2nd through 6th layers, all of their 6-hour records are between 750 and 810k XP in those 6 hours. And then you've got one player who's at 951k, and that was over 4 years ago, before like any of the new updates made Slayer faster. So it's like blatantly obvious that they abused something, and
Very high. Yeah, so I'm curious what else they might have, like, with this system that could be abused like that. So overall, it's unfortunate that, I mean, here's the thing, if it was limited to just members, I don't know just like group Ironmen, I think I'd be okay with it. I think when you start allowing other account builds to be able to be involved in it, that is what opens it up for the potential for people to start abusing it in a meaningful capacity. But yeah, if it was group Ironmen only, I don't think I'd have any issue with it at all.
Same, but that also, like, what happens when, like, when and if Group Iron Man becomes, like, the thing that everybody's going for. Now it's like a competitive thing, and that, well, I don't know. It does
That's
affect,
kind of died out.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's like, it does affect their meta heavily, probably, and I don't know if, like, what their thoughts are on about it. Like, most, from what I see, most group irons are just playing casually with their friends. So I don't think that the competitive aspect of increasing experience and all of that really matters to them as much as it does for, like, the wider high level community.
Okay.
I could keep that one.
We're starting to run a little bit on time.
All right.
We are
Fair enough.
we are not even halfway through the document, and we're nearly at 2 hours. So I got to start being
never mind.
pretty aggressive with removing some of the topics that we had in place, and that one just ended up being one of them. But one of them that is not is talking about the new Grandmaster quest that came out, which is While Guthix Sleeps. So it was released last month. Have you done the quest? If so, what did you think about it? How close was it to the version of it that was in RS3? What if you've watched anything on it? What do you think about the new Grandmaster?
All right, so I originally played from 2005 to 2011. It was very on and off, though, so I actually didn't do it back in the day, even though it was out. I did it now, kind of just spacebar through it, wait a couple days for a video guide. After I finished it, I haven't done anything related to it, though, so I don't really care about it. It's just more time and tears.
How much time now are you able to spend in there with like 300-something quest points?
So it's 1 tick per quest point. So it's 313 ticks.
So what is that then? Fucking
313 times 0.6. That's 3 minutes and 8 seconds about.
That's pretty decent. How much XP are you?
I mean, it adds up.
How much XP are you getting on that on average? Then you think?
I think it's like 15K.
Okay, that's you're certainly getting a good benefit from that. Saving you probably.
I mean, yeah, it's worth doing for what I have left.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to go do it. Oops.
All right.
So I didn't do the quest, and I didn't do it in RS3 either.
Is that end of take?
Yep.
Good answer.
Thank you for your contribution. And I didn't do it in RS3. I haven't done it yet, but I saw that they had recently pretty recently, they added it to the questing plugin. So that will be how I do it, not the I'm at a point, so like Abra, so like you were able to you did a video guide. I don't want to do that anymore. It's like I feel like I've been spoiled with the questing plugin, that like I don't want to do any quests anymore unless I have that. So like
funnily enough, the only reason I try to do it quickly and just wait for a video guide rather than the plugin is because I want my quest cape teleport for stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that topic, I feel like for me, I don't mind doing like the wiki guide and not using Quest Helper for quests that I've never done before. But once you've done it a couple of times, and it's just boring. You already know what all the dialogue's going to tell you, all like the funny twists and everything. So it's just, Quest Helper, spacebar through everything, make it as mindless and as quick as possible.
I'm going to be honest, there's only one quest that I've ever not used the guide for, and that was the frog quest in Parliament. Just because that was quality content.
That was a good quest in terms of story.
Quality.
Yeah.
I think I would still use a quest guide for like Cook's Assistant, because you know what?
Oh, no.
I can't tell you what the items are required off the top of my head.
Open flower.
See, I didn't know it was I didn't have the milk. So there you go,
Jesus.
quest done. I've probably done that quest like 30 times.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use like the wiki quick guide or something just so I can follow a step-by-step thing and look ahead to see so I don't like waste time.
Yeah.
But I like looking at the dialogue just because some of the dialogue is actually funny and interesting.
Yes, sir.
When I was doing some quest the other day, I think it was Temple of the Eye. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to do Desert Treasure 2 on my alt. The part of content in that I most appreciated and like got an audible laugh out of me was when you're talking to the Zammy mage and he says, "Hey, I need you to go get me a cup of tea." And
another one.
Sorry for the ear explosion there. That was another one. Is that during the quest when the Zammy mage tells you go to the Varrock guy, I want a strong cup of tea. You get it, you bring it back to him. He drinks it, and then in the chat box, he says, nothing like a nice cup of tea. Which, I mean, that's what it says when you as a player drinks it. But I just thought as an NPC saying it, like, it got a laugh out of me, so I appreciated it.
Man, I remember, like, the first days of me playing the game, just going around examining everything, just because, like, some of the examine text and all that is just genuinely funny. All the references they have to, like, just classic movies and all that kind of stuff it's nice.
I think my favorite is the No Shirt Sherlock. That's solid.
If you examine, like, the camo top, then it says, examine what?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's this one specific dwarf in the Motherlode mine. If you examine him, it has, like, some type of text relating to, it's like a Mario reference. It's like, he looks like the type of guy who would want to, like, save princesses and fight dragons and something like that. Because the dwarves are dressed up in, like, a Mario thing. It's just funny shit like that. Just makes the game feel, like, more alive, I guess. And I like the sense of humor that the devs have.
All right, so hopping back on the While Guthix Sleeps, one of the things that they came out with was the Tormented Demons. And killing those Tormented Demons is approximately, according to the wiki, 8.5 mil GP per hour. So just curious, like, how do you feel about that as, like, a price point per hour for, like, PVMing at it? Looks like the majority of it comes from the Tormented Synapse, which is used for creating the upgraded Demon Bane weapons. And that was like a 7.2 mil of that 8.5. So kind of curious what you guys think about, like, the money in its current state from it. I think that 8.5 is pretty fair, like, looking at the content for it. It's not brainless, but it's not Coliseum level of difficult. So I think about 8.5 mil is pretty fair. And the part about that is that, like, it is so heavily based on that big drop, because otherwise you're going to be averaging, if you don't get that drop, you're getting under 2 mil an hour. And that, I think, is how, like, PVM generally should be. It should be more RNG focused. Like, when they've, like, Zulrah and Vorkath, when those came out for their time, they were so wild because the big drop wasn't necessarily moving the needle too much for you from a money standpoint. And I think that as they continue to release bosses, it should be that big drop is what makes up, Sevix 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 up, 75% or so of your, like, estimated money per hour that you make from that. So I would like if they continue to have drop tables similar to how this one is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. The the upgraded demon weapons are pretty much required in order to get the kills per hour that you need to get the 8.5 mil per hour. So there's already like a buy-in cost, or you can just get the drop yourself. So I think that and the way the drops are split up, that's like an overall really good way to have it.
Yeah, like the Desert Treasure 2 bosses that came out last year, like the majority of the money you get from that, I believe, and Sebbe, tell me if I'm wrong because you got more experience in it, is that like it comes from the rings, the big drop. You're not getting that. It's not necessarily, the drops are decent, but they're not spectacular, right?
What nonsense?
Like on the drop tables for the Desert Treasure 2 bosses.
Probably. I've just never got a drop there.
Yeah. But you have Blood Torva?
Yeah. Just never got a drop.
Built different.
Never lucky.
No, I did like 50 KC of each boss before I did the Awakened version.
I mean, I know there's like some troll drops that are like under a K worth. So
yeah.
And so that kind of balances out like the decent regular drop table loot. Like I know you can get like up to 7 dragon plate legs or something from one of the longer.
It's all about the Virtus and the ranks for sure. There's no, you don't get the money otherwise.
I think things that provide consistent profit but not great profit until you hit the mega or the rare drop is good. And especially if the consistent drops includes like supplies to extend trips, that just makes it feel better.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Vardorvis right now, and like estimated profit is, and again, this is just using the wiki, is 6.2 mil an hour, and 4.7 of that comes from the altar ring. So 1.5 mil an hour from everything else, I think, is probably pretty fair. Like, if you're not getting the big thing.
Yeah. And oh yeah, and speaking of Tormented Demons, they did add those special drop things. Like there's like some type of heart or something that you can eat.
Or like the flesh.
Yeah, to regenerate your health and prayer points. And that's like a substitute for the supply drops. I think that's cool, just to increase the trip lengths.
Yeah, so it's actually, I think I looked last night, it's a little bit more skewed even. It was saying 8 mil and 800k for normal drops. Like, they even buffed the normal drops because they used to be like way worse, and you would get like a single herb sometimes at the drop. But yeah, no, I like this system because things not being like super good or even like good at all. As long as you make up your supply costs and a little bit more, I think that's how they should do it, because if it's good, consistent money, people are going to do it, and then the drops are going to get flooded and crash in value. So this way, if you're not getting drops, you're I don't know, maybe not going to do it and get a ton and make a good end. Rewards of patience and
I'm definitely
not
glad,
immediate gratification.
Yeah, and I'm definitely glad they undershot the drop rates and like the.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah,
it used to be the other way around, so that they'd come out with something, it'd be super good, and then they'd have to nerf it. Like, they even did that at Wintertide.
Yeah. And, yeah, like, just so many things that they've done that with, and I'm glad that they seem to be going with a more cautious approach, and that's definitely a good sign.
Very good. Have you got anything on this?
Nah.
All right. Where are we at time-wise? 15 minutes left, and we have probably fucking an hour and a half of content still. Holy hell. I'm gonna delete a couple things here.
Just keep whatever you want.
Yeah. Someone talk about something.
All right. The Dead Man. What was it called? The Apocalypse one or
Armageddon?
All-Stars one, the content creator one, that shit was so hype. I don't know about you guys, but I was locked in watching.
I didn't watch a single minute.
It was so good. I feel like that should be like what they try to do in the future, but also if they're able to include like the regular population, even if that means just running more events more frequently and having those small groups, because that was just incredibly fun to watch.
I think the way they should probably go about it is just sponsor events that players organize themselves.
Right, and then have like dedicated worlds for them, just like they did with Solar Mission.
Yeah, so that's where the quality is.
Yeah, and regarding like the Reign of Terror shit with regular DMM, I think that I don't think it's feasible for them to just like IP ban them or chain ban them.
Yeah, VPN and all that.
Any of that. So what I would think is, as long as there's no like, if there's like, as an example, during the All-Stars tournament, they weren't involved in that event at all, and so they had no issues during the finale with the singles fights. They had no incentive to DDoS the finale, and that's why it went so well. So I think if they can just figure out a way to just de-incentivize the real world value for winning the competition, or just making the prize not be super substantial, just have the actual event part be the fun, that the reward. You're having fun playing the game. You don't really need an external prize to encourage you to play.
I don't even remember the last time I paid attention to Deadman. It kind of fell off in relevancy to me.
How many viewers did they have on the stream?
I think the old school channel had like 60,000, and then Odablock had more than that. So
Jesus,
over 100. Yeah, so there were over 150,000 people watching it live.
That's more than a lot. That's more than a lot of like cable television shows get.
It was extremely hype to watch.
I'd imagine they're still going to keep going in. Like they're going to still keep having.
Yeah, they're probably going to keep doing it.
Like they don't care how much, or like if you're looking at it from
controversy.
Yeah, like the controversy doesn't really matter. The money that they spend on it doesn't really matter. The fallout from it doesn't really matter, because there's so many eyeballs that hop in it. And, if we're only taking like the peak of viewers of like 60, 75K on each of those channels.
It pushes up in Twitch directory.
Yeah, and that's not even the only people that are getting watched. And also that's like at what the peak concurrent thing would be. Like how many hundreds of thousands tuned in and just, tuned out like at some point, maybe they
all the YouTube video progress videos, and like there was not even a real world prize. It was just like betting your own GP, and there was like a pot, and whatever you put up in the pot was the most that you could win, even if the other teams bet more.
Yeah.
So like one team bet 30 billion and the winning team bet 7 billion. The team that bet 30 billion got 23 of that billion back, and the team that won just got the 7 billion from that team because they won. So it wasn't there wasn't any external motivation or anything, and I think that's like the way to go, because it completely avoided any interruptions or just bad stuff going on with the clan.
Well, yeah, and I mean we're sitting here 3 weeks after Deadman has ended, and we still don't even know who actually legitimately won it.
Yeah, they did mention that they're going to put out the final news post on that situation next week.
Yeah, I was seeing that when I was catching up on some of the stuff here. So
yeah, so we'll definitely get some information. At least they're doing their due diligence, getting all of the facts right before making a heavy-handed decision.
Oh yeah,
I think even if we all know that they're that clan is like not innocent, that they should still do their due diligence and get all their ducks in a row before they take any action.
Yeah, 100%. And we're looking forward to going more. I had several things going into detail on the Deadman mode. I think it'll probably be good. We can talk about it on the next podcast once that has actually been finalized. So I had to cut out a lot of topics here for us to get out in the next 10 minutes. But I have it written down to add on to the next one. Let's try to speed through these ones here. We're going to go on to the summer. Thank you for that, because that was good info to be able to take for a discussion. So on the Summer Summit, they mentioned that they will be showing a roadmap. So in September, rather than them having RuneFest, which is what they were going to have, where they would reveal this summit, they're just going to do kind of like a live stream type thing, which they've done in the past. In that, they're going to have a roadmap for the rest of the year leading into the Spring Summit, which will be in March for RuneFest, and it's going to be a 6-month roadmap. So with that, like, do you guys like the idea of getting a roadmap for the future? Like in this case, it's going to be for the next 6 months, here's what's coming to the game. Or would you prefer to be more in the dark with the updates? What do you think is a good balance to try to strike? And what do you think about their presentations when they do give those summits?
It's definitely interesting to tune into them. I like speculating on like what items might be going up and what might be going down, and I like getting a little bit of info about what's going to be coming, and not having like the full picture. I think that they did a pretty good balance with the last Winter Summit. Like, I know they mentioned like the Hunter Guild and Forestry, so because of that, I held off on training too much woodcutting and Hunter. And that saved me some time in the long run because I wanted to take part in those content. And yeah,
I like
a little bit of time to plan ahead and also not spoil the entire like details. It's a really good balance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like being able to plan and also knowing at least the general whatever is coming up lets me actually be lets me actually kind of be excited about the game, because I can only think of like 2 things that have come out in the past several years that I even touch. Most stuff just isn't relevant to me at this point. So anything that can change my plans, that's good.
We just lost Sebbe, who has said that he is going to bed very tired. So I'll read off his answers when we get to the end here, but yeah, we do gotta power through the end here, and I was just gonna take out that mobile question here.
Mobile UI rework. I tried to do the beta and it crashed when I logged in.
I did not touch it.
No matter what I tried, it would crash before I could log in and actually try the new UI, so I didn't like it.
I think one of the questions was suggestions for mobile. I think I have a couple. I want to be able to remove elements of the HUD, like get rid of the report button so I don't misclick on that. I want to get rid of some side panel buttons. I want to resize stuff. And I want more shortcuts, like how when you bring up a teleport menu, like the achievement cape, be able to press a button to do that, because my phone screen is small, so I misclick on stuff so often. And like, especially for world hopping, I want to type in the world.
It's pretty. One of the things that I've found pretty hard is like when you try teleporting, like as I've been doing Slayer on my alt, using like a Slayer ring, and like trying to teleport from my inventory. You get like the chat box gets filled up with all the teleport options, and I so often misclick on where it is that I actually want to teleport to.
I have to try a couple times.
Wearing it would solve that, I think, right? But I have not tried. I would like to be able to teleport normally.
Oh, also, one more thing I'd want I think in line with like the changes to the clients, like they're going to do plugin hub and look for mobile updates too, is I want to make it a vanilla client feature, like how Runelite has the logout time extension. Just make that an in-game setting.
Yeah, that would be good. Like even 10 minutes would be enough.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The only thing that I ever used it for more than 5 minutes was 7 minutes at stars for each team.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. That only have to do as much.
Other than that, and anything else is not even necessary because combat already keeps you logged in. You just stop gaining XP after the 20 minutes or whatever, with no interaction.
All right, so we got
here I'll take off that one here, and then we'll just hit on to the closing. All right. So, what have you guys been up to during the podcast?
I am going to be on the roofs probably for a while I'm making all my money. So doing that and some secret stuff on the alt.
Ooh.
Secret?
Getting that big money.
Oh, I know.
You know.
Is it the thing that I mentioned or not?
Don't even hint at any cat. You don't fuck with another man's money.
All right. So I just been running laps. I got 200 mil construction like during my introduction.
Wait, shit! What world are you on? Why are we running together?
I don't know. I was running with Crabcore.
No.
He's coming up on 200 mil all soon.
Yeah, he is.
I was killing Vires, my main and all my alts for that matter. All the times that you guys watching the podcast would have heard another one, which there were a few of them. That was me getting a blood shard, and then there was the one of it's yelling at me like blood shard alert. That was someone else's blood shard. That like when that alert goes off, it's like, all right, drop everything that you're doing and go and pick up that person's, because everyone can see that now.
Yeah, none of us have been hearing those alerts.
Oh, I know, but for the people that watch
the people at home.
for the people that watch the podcast, they'll be able to get that. When I was talking about Abra being a player moderator, I hit a button here that the people listening will hear is a police siren going off on an internal soundboard that I have. But the viewers will have heard all of that. Sebbe said that he's been doing TOB. And he's still continuing to work towards doing the combat achievements for that. And as we're ending here, I guess right on time, not necessarily good because I had to delete probably like an hour and a half of discussion, was give a shout out to a random RuneScape player.
For me, back when I used to regularly stream, I would have Sal Bobo in there, and he is about a month away from finishing Twin Mill. He's taking his leisurely stroll to finish, just doing baked pie for cooking.
What's the XP per hour doing that?
About 500k.
Oh wow, okay.
It's expensive though, right?
I don't think it's that expensive, but like it's good AFK. So.
And you've been
my shout out would be to a guy named WHXP. We've been chatting in a friends chat, a chat channel. Last night we're pretty much up all night. I was doing construction. We were just sending each other songs, listening along to each other, just hanging out, chilling, having a nice time.
Yo.
Give my shout out to Onyx. He almost was able to make the podcast and wasn't able to. He had to sacrifice his time to his wife. So, happy wife, happy life, not happy podcast availability. So hopefully,
I think this podcast is pretty good.
Oh no, from like an availability.
It worked for this one.
From an availability
we would have
standpoint.
Even more questions.
yeah. I'm saying from an availability standpoint. Like my wife is out. My wife is out shopping right now, pissing away all of our money. But hey,
and you're about to go to a party.
But it's a fantasy football draft party, and it's a potluck, and I got a couple chips and a potato salad to bring.
Yeah, and as soon as we finish up here, go to the dog park, and then go to a museum because my birthday was last week, and we didn't end up doing anything, so we're doing it this week.
Happy birthday!
Nice.
Thank you.
Sebbe gives a shout out to Bakusho for teaching him TOB. And that'll do it. We are right at that 30 mark there, or 3:30. So we're gonna end the podcast here. Next podcast probably is gonna still no shot. It comes within the next 3 weeks or so. We didn't talk about sailing intentionally. They did come out with that the sailing preview this week. There is a lot going on with that, and then with all the other podcast topics that we had, and then in addition to me having to delete almost half of it, there's a lot on the sailing, and that's going to have to be one that I feel like it'll be strictly sailing topics only that we'll discuss whenever that time comes. And I mean, obviously, we are still, based on what they showed us, still so far away that I don't know how much value we're going to be able to get out of it discussing it as a group. So.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait until a technical alpha actually get our hands on it.
Yeah,
they said the open alphas can be early
next year. Next year is what they said. Did they say early? It just said next year.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was early.
Well,
either way,
once we have that point, we'll have a lot more. Yeah. So, gonna end the podcast here. Next one, I mean, it could be a month or two. This one was 2 months. Could be another 2 months, but we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in the future for Hexis Podcast number 94. Follow us on Twitter or X at Hexis.
It's Twitter. It ain't X.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
See ya. See ya.